I did work out till like 4 or 5 days before I delivered.
This is a woman who chose to strength train during her pregnancy, taking care of her family, her career, her children, and breaking all the norms that our women expected to during the pregnancy phase.
Grew up as an overweight kid, and exercise and good food was nowhere near the horizon in my life. You know, there are so many women in villages who are continuing to work in the field. They're caring for the family, they're squatting all the time, and they don't even have the bandwidth and time to ask this question. They're very physically active. It is, and I used to, where I work out, I would see, people sometimes saying like, you shouldn't. Being fit is not just about looking fit, it's about like feeling fit.
Yes.
And pregnancy has so many ups and downs in itself. There is no reason to stop, I feel.
Hi everyone, this is Mehak Kapoor from CAF, the Wellness Hub. Welcome you all to Unlikely Strong. Real people, real stories, real struggle. Today's guest is a woman who chose to strength train during her pregnancy, taking care of her family, her career, her children, and breaking all the norms that our women expected to during the pregnancy phase. Her squats and burpees were never took maternity leave. Please welcome Ankita Bhatia. Hi Ankita.
Hi, Mehak.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
So, Ankita, tell me one thing that during your pregnancy, you took over strength training, which is a phase where women have a lot of fears, a lot of apprehensions in terms of all the things. So, what motivated you towards starting this fitness journey, even during the pregnancy phase?
So I've been training for quite some time, even before pregnancy. So it wasn't something that I started during pregnancy. And I was in no mood to stop because I got pregnant. So I wanted to continue that. And my relationship with my body and fitness goes really long back. So, just to give you what that experience has been like for me, I grew up as an overweight kid, and exercise and good food was nowhere near the horizon in my life. And it was quite late when I was well into my teens. I was 18 or 19 that I started working out, and I've not looked back since. And because I realized the value of what feeling fit meant, I've just never given it up. I've never taken a break. So for me, when I got pregnant, the thought of giving that up was depressing.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure that I had a healthy pregnancy. I wanted to make sure that I was in the clear to exercise, which is important. But once I had that, I was a big believer. I am a big believer of listening to your body. So I went in with the approach of, I will know when to stop, and my body will tell me. So I have to be self-aware. But other than that, I should work out as much as I want. And thankfully, I had a very progressive doctor who encouraged this. So I have a funny incident when I met my gynecologist and I said, I'm pregnant. And she was like, okay, whatever, what are your questions? And my first question was, can I work out? And she smiled and she said that, there are so many women in villages who are continuing to work in the field. They're caring for the family. They're squatting all the time. And they don't even have the bandwidth and time to ask this question. They're very physically active. And they have very healthy pregnancies and very healthy children. So, it's amusing that in cities, people ask this question because there's a lot of concern, that something wrong will happen to the baby. So she said that I have patients who've done headstands, though I never did a headstand before or during. But it really motivated me and I just kept going. So I did work out till like 4 or 5 days before I delivered.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like it helped me a lot.
And types of strength training that you did, you were working out in a group.
Yeah.
Not that you had special mass classes or something or the other. You
Yeah.
were with the group like everybody else, and you were doing your usual workout. So
Yeah.
that's very unusual of anybody who's pregnant. So
Yeah, it is. And I used to, where I work out, I would see, people sometimes saying like, you shouldn't. And I have an elder child. My son is 5. So, sometimes I would just pick him up in the park and I was very pregnant.
yeah,
And then people would say, oh my God, you shouldn't do this. How can you
don't
lift?
Yeah.
How are you lifting these bags? And I used to just not retaliate but laugh because I was lifting a lot of weights in my workout.
Yeah.
And I felt good doing it. I feel like I say, the body tells you when to stop. And as the pregnancy progressed, when there were things that felt uncomfortable, like being on your belly, etc., then those were, sort of toned down for me. But I really felt very good working
While you
out.
were working out.
And I've enjoyed being part of a group where I was the only pregnant person because there was no special focus.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, sometimes when you work out with people where everybody's pregnant, it's all about the pregnancy, do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that lack of focus. So in the group, in my workout group, as you know, Mehak, everybody's a star.
Yeah.
I draw inspiration.
It's an advanced
It's a very
batch,
advanced group, and I draw inspiration. I feel like if I'm as consistent and disciplined as even half of like where they are, it'll be amazing. So I like that nobody was too easy on me, and
so no special treatments. You felt as normal as
normal, and I took it as this is a normal biological
way of life
thing. It's a way of life.
Out. Yeah.
And trust my body that my body is capable of doing this. And I will, try and be as fit as possible. I feel like being fit is not just about looking fit. It's about like feeling fit.
Yes.
And pregnancy has so many ups and downs in itself.
Yeah.
So to me, it helped a lot. This was the one consistent thing with the non-pregnant me and the pregnant me which I carried through. And very importantly, even post-delivery, it helps you a lot because you are just stronger.
Yes.
And your recovery is faster. So I did it, and I had lots of funny comments that used to come my way, but
share some.
Yeah, so like I said, this, like don't pick up heavy things. And then the most common misconception is that like it's just very dangerous to the baby if you move, like, oh, this is a time to rest and indulge. Like, why are you working? Are you crazy?
Eat for two people.
Eat for 2 people and just chill. Because people don't think working out is joy. So it's like, why are you doing this? But actually, this is also joy.
Yeah. Do you think that perception is changing now? That workout not to be treated as a punishment, but as a source of joy, source of celebrating what your body can do in terms of movement.
I think it is changing.
It is.
I feel like it is, if I compare to women in my mother's generation, where, they would just not even dream of this.
Yeah.
It definitely is changing. But I also feel there's a long way to go.
A long way, yeah.
And I feel like if there are strong examples where you see women in this phase, if they're working out and they're fit and they have healthy babies, it does motivate people. Yes. So I did see some, I used to follow some people online and they would do these hard workouts. And I was very amused that they would get a lot of judgment on the internet.
True.
But to me, that was really motivating. I felt like if she can do it, so can I. And this is, so this is not medically, unless there's an issue. You are very encouraged to exercise.
Yes.
So no doctor will say just be sedentary. Actually, they say it helps you.
It does.
Have an easier pregnancy if you're active. So then I see no reason. And especially if your body is used to a certain level of training,
True.
then you don't need to stop. You will adapt as your body adapts.
So there is a scientific evidence also that women who are active during their pregnancy or who work out during the pregnancy have less chances of developing diabetes or any kind of other issues, high BP. Did you have any apprehensions when you started कि मुझे ना ये हो जाए या मैंने इसको रोकना है इस चीज को, something that you rebelled against internally?
I feel now gestational diabetes and high BP is become par for course.
Yeah.
Like everybody assumes that you will get it because of city lifestyle environment. And also I feel like, women are having babies later. So it's just assumed that ho hi jayega. And you just pop a pill and you will be fine. Though it is quite stressful on the mother, I feel, if you develop.
Yeah.
So I went into this thinking, definitely thinking that I will take good care of myself and even better care of myself because your body is going through so much. So there are many things that you develop during this phase that sometimes can stay on for life. So what are some of the ways in which I can be fit? So exercise was an important part of it. And then just like being positive, etc. But I also was very like, I try to be aware of what could happen. So, with diabetes, you get tested for it, right?
Yeah.
For your sugar and for your BP.
And mostly women, they have
it.
Yeah.
And I also had like 2-3 borderline tests that came in. But because they were borderline, and because I also was trying to keep up with what this means and, should I medicate, should I not? I actually decided to take better care of these things and I could avoid medication because of that. So, for example, for sugar, you're tested and I told my doctor if it's borderline, can I avoid medication?
Now, you said that. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, at that phase, I feel women are so scared of going anything against the flow.
Yeah.
So you said that.
So I think maybe it helps to have a second baby because the first time you don't know too much. And the second time you are a little bit more aware.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I had a doctor who was very open-minded. So it's also important to find somebody with whom you can have a conversation and they can address your questions. So, I, for example, like there are foods that will help your sugar not spike. Or if you eat a lot of fiber with your meal, like have a bowl of salad, it helps to control your sugar. And then, like walk 10 minutes after every meal. So this is not to say this works for everybody, but what was in my control, I wanted to test it to see if it really works. And in my case, I was able to avoid medication because my borderline things never escalated. And I started doing these things even more consciously. And it became an interesting experiment. You kind of realize that when you eat, you don't know the impact on the body. But because I was in this phase and I was monitoring, like I had a at-home prick test, you can see that just a 10-minute walk can help you.
Yes.
And, earlier, they all used to, our grandparents used to do it, कि खाना खा लिया, सैर कर लेते हैं. अब वो छूट गई habits.
1,000 steps, something like that.
कर लिए. And we are like used to eating with the laptop or working. And it really fascinated me that some of these older things are so simple to do. Like it doesn't take any effort to walk for 10 minutes. So these things helped me. And of course, I was, monitoring everything. My doctor was monitoring. But to say that I went in expecting that anything can happen, but I also went in saying that if it does, then I will try what feels like a more natural, gentler course on the body. And if it works out, great. Because to your point, you also are in that phase where you're not taking unnecessary risks on your pregnancy. You don't want to. And you want to trust the medical advice. But if the medical advice, sometimes I feel, you have to be very disciplined. The onus is on you. If a doctor says you do these things and you don't follow it, then it's far more safer maybe to be on the medication. because what you're doing in the house 24/7,
Yeah.
that only you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to
So
have
be more self-aware, be
Yeah.
more responsible towards whatever decision that you take
Yeah.
regarding medication or
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ankita, do you feel that if I talk about our grandmothers or maybe sometimes before them as well, pregnancy was a very natural thing. Women used to say. So I remember my grandmother saying that, "मैं तो चपाती बनाते बनाते मेरे तो बच्चे पैदा हो गए," something like that. Now it is like people when a person is pregnant, you feel मैं तो बीमार हूँ, you know,
Yeah.
like that kind of a feeling is given. It is associated with something medical.
Yeah.
So, but in your case, you were active, you were just up and about, you had an elder child to take care of.
Yeah.
You had family responsibilities and a very fast-paced global career. So, navigating all of it and still not feeling that you are sick and just that you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So how did you overcome that phase?
So it is a tough
Mhm.
phase, and I think with kids the tough phase continues because you have no time.
Mhm.
So you're always juggling
Yeah.
with young children,
Yeah.
and I have 2 young children. So I feel like time is definitely difficult.
Time is, yeah.
And then you have your career and you have
Mm.
your things, and you want to take care of yourself a little bit. You want to take time out for yourself. So it's all difficult.
Mm.
I think during pregnancy, what helped me was that, I had an elder child to take care of,
Mm.
and I had other responsibilities. I had work. I didn't dwell on, I'm pregnant
Yeah.
and I'm feeling this and I'm feeling that. Though first trimester is quite hard. It was very
course,
hard on
yeah.
me too. But I just feel like, one, the experience of being a second time mother helped. And then secondly, just to take each day as it comes, because I feel like it is a volatile journey. It's not same for any 2 women. Every 2 women will have a different experience of pregnancy, different experience of delivery, different experience of postpartum, and they're all valid.
Yeah.
So there is no right, wrong in this. But for me, I feel like just taking each day as it comes and just like trying to see very positive, doing the things that I enjoy doing, even in very busy times. So, like working out is important to me. Being part of a community is important. Surrounding myself with more positive things is important. And thankfully, I feel like I have also friends and family and a husband who's not too much like giving everything too much over important. So that helps.
Yeah.
Because you're not like every day.
Yes,
it's not
yes.
all about
Yeah.
like. So
कुछ
you
ना कुछ
get
तो
over it.
छूटेगा. मतलब like your house can't be perfect. It
Yeah,
can't be just perfect in your pregnancy.
Don't
So
put
I
too
think-
much pressure.
Yeah.
I feel it's nothing can be, and I also feel like I've had to learn that after kids that I've always liked things to be a certain way, my house to be a certain way, work. Everything has to be exactly the way I want. But I feel like with kids, you develop more flexibility, fluidity in your approach.
Yeah.
So, you feel like and not every day is perfect. Some days something takes a little bit more of you. Some days something takes a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you have to then find time to take care of yourself. And just you keep going like that.
So in terms of career and balancing your, 2 children, a family, so what kind of tips do you want to share with women who are, because they're working, they want to rise in their careers, they want their children also to, learn new things, be good citizens. So what's your tip for them?
So I don't know if I'm qualified to give tips to people. I am still figuring this out. It is tough, I'll say.
Tough. Yeah.
Especially with the fast-paced lives that we have, and not everybody is living close to family or with family. And children need time and attention. So in this phase, to me, it feels like there's a lot happening all the time. And every day is too full with things. Now, when I look back, Mehak, when I was single or when we were just a couple, I feel like kitna time tha mere paas?
All the time in the world.
I had all the time. I could have done 100 things. I had all the time because it's a different life.
Yes.
But every phase is beautiful in its own way. So I think one is that this will sound like it's not gyan, but I really started believing it now. you have to try and live in the moment. You know, that's important.
Mm.
Where you are and what you're focusing on, try and
Mm.
give that attention.
Mm.
And I don't try and be, like I said, perfection is not my goal anymore in
Mm.
life.
Mhm.
I accept that someday the kids will need me more. Someday my work
Yes,
needs me
yes,
more.
yes.
Some days I feel like I couldn't do justice to work. Someday I feel
Mm.
like I can't do justice to
Mm.
kids. But over a longer period,
Mm.
I want to look back at life and say that I think broadly I have been able
Somehow
to do
there was a
things.
balance on all the fronts.
And if there are things that are important to me, like my
Mm.
job or my
Mm.
family, my kids, all of, like, you know, it's important to me.
Mm.
Overall, it should make sense to me.
Mm.
And that's very personal. You know,
Yes,
what is
yes.
personal
Yeah,
to you is not, you know,
Yeah.
so that I think is important. I also feel like one of the ways you can juggle this is, if you can,
Mm.
try and cultivate some sort of a village around you. I feel
Mm.
like raising children and two
Mm.
people doing it
Yes.
is extremely hard.
Yeah.
And I feel, you know, like my mother says कि कैसे पल गए हमें तो पता नहीं चला. वो पता नहीं चलने के
Because
reason
we
थे.
used to have joint families earlier. So, what's your support system? I want to understand how your, you said you cultivated a village around you. So, share about how important it is for a woman in that phase to have a support system.
Yeah,
And
I think
what-
for every
Hmm.
woman it's important. And but all the more if you have a career, it's
Hmm.
even more important. So I, you know, have family around, you know, who stay very close by. So that helps a lot. And, you know, I have great friends around who can pitch in and help out. I've always tried to make sure, you know, my daughter is very, very young. She's just 10 months, but my son is 5. You know, to also create some sense of independence in him, that he should also, in trusted homes, be comfortable, hang out with other kids, enjoy. So that all elevates all the pressure on the parent all the time to engage.
Yeah.
And, you know, not everybody can do it.
Also asking for help
Asking
when
for
needed.
Yeah, which women, I think, struggle to do.
Which I think couples struggle to do. They're
Yeah.
like, mama ko kyun bolna?
Yeah.
Friend ko kyun bolna?
No, I'm very
say,
besharam like that. I will ask.
I think that's a very
Yeah.
practical tip.
You have to.
Margo time,
You should.
ask,
And
share that.
And my joke is, you know, everybody kept saying, like parents and in-laws, if they say, you know, you should have a family, I'm like, you have said so, now you better help, na? Please.
True,
So
yes,
everybody says, हम संभाल लेंगे. So I'm like, ठीक है, फिर अब संभालो.
अब संभालो.
So, yeah, I mean, jokes apart, it is important. I feel in cities, you know, people feel like really burnt out with the demands of life and kids. And it is hard, you know?
Yeah.
So, to whatever degree you can, you should try and, at least that's been my experience, you should try and develop this circle that you trust, where, you know, they can also help, support, engage the children. At the end of the day, it is the parents' responsibility. You know, that's, you've had children, you are responsible for them. But, you know, there are so many cases where you need to be here, there, you have some work, you have some meetings.
And with 2 children, I think one needs more time at times. The other younger one needs more of your time. So I think that juggling with the family becomes slightly manageable, I would say, not easier.
I mean, it's a juggle, but that's what helps me navigate this, is having support.
And Ankita, you also broke a barrier of, you know, breastfeeding your child. I believe you're a strong believer in that. And the scientific evidence also shares that women who breastfeed their children recover faster. There is a better recovery of their uterus coming back to shape, for their blood markers to come back to what it is ideal. And it's all the more good for the child. But nowadays, I feel there is a lot of struggle in terms of giving formula to a child, or to find time to breastfeed the child. So, being, again, you have a fast-paced career, you have an elder child, you have other passions in life as well in terms of family and your own. So, how do you manage that?
So, I think breastfeeding in itself is a whole topic. So, yeah, the evidence is there. And, you know, I understand, like, women make all sorts of choices depending on what they can do, what their situation is, etc. But I am a believer in breastfeeding for the evidence, like you mentioned. And I also believe that, especially in today's environment where there's so many pollutants, so many things, immunity is important. So from that perspective, I started doing it. This is not to say that the journey was easy at all. It was extremely, as you know, it's an extremely difficult thing to do. And it's very time consuming. Especially for the first 6 months where the baby is only dependent on the mother's milk. So I feel like a lot of women, if somebody chooses not to do it, it's one thing. But I feel like a lot of women struggle not because they don't want to do it, but because there's such lack of support. And they don't fully understand what it means. And for me, the first time that was the struggle is that I was given I got a baby back home. And then I just thought this is like unimaginably difficult because nobody coached me or nobody helped me understand what it takes. And the reality is it does take hours and hours and hours for the first 6 months where the baby is totally attached to you.
You can't leave
your one
baby,
body. Wherever you go, your baby has to go. And wherever the baby goes, you go. So there's no physical separation between the mother and the baby. And it's tough because, today everybody, you have a career, you have a social life, you want to take time for a workout. Everything is around that one decision. So you have to persevere, I think, if you want to do it. And you have to understand that it's not an easy journey, but it gets easier over time. And I feel like if somebody had told me that this will get easier and this will get better, I would have had a much easier time mentally accepting it. Though I did go for long, I still feel like I never used to understand why. Like I used to feel the struggle is all mine. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe
do you feel there has to be some support system for women who choose to breastfeed their children? Some kind of internal support system within the society, or maybe some support groups where they can go and, meet like-minded women and share their stories of struggle. Would that be in your opinion, would that be
I think every bit will help because I feel support groups do help because you hear lots of other stories and you have a space to ask questions. But there's also a lot of judgment in these decisions. So I feel like women also fear a lot of that. Especially when it comes to parenting. Women feel the burden of judgment much more than maybe the fathers do, I feel. So women, sometimes, they're reluctant. But I feel like, yes, a support group would help. Education, even for the family, will help. I see a lot of cases where there's a lot of pressure on the women because families don't understand.
How difficult it is.
How difficult, or it's like, I feel like I'll give you, there are these examples even you would have heard. Oh, the baby is crying so much because the baby is hungry. Because you are feeding, you're not giving formula. Or it's because of what you ate, then this happened. So, there's a lot of pressure, or there's insistence ki aap ek formula de do raat mein, bachcha soega. So I also, the first time, I also was very taken in and I was like, yeah, that's true. And my son never slept, even if I gave him a bottle of whatnot. He never slept. He was a poor sleeper. He never slept. It didn't matter. So, a lot of things is also evolution of the baby. How they sleep is not entirely food. They get up for comfort.
And every child is different. Every case is different. But there are a lot of judgments.
So you doubt yourself then.
Yes.
You start doubting that maybe I'm doing this wrong. And they say that stress is the biggest challenge for a breastfeeding mom. Because if you're happy and you have, you have your oxytocin, you can lactate and you can feed your baby. And then when you start stressing, everything will start becoming difficult for you. So, second time around, again, just second time, more experience. It was it's not easy. It's still tough. but I feel like I knew all of these things.
You were much better in control of the symptoms also. Like,
Yeah.
there is a weakness in the body. You need to have more nutritious food during that point in time. And there is slight lethargy as well because it is taxing
Yeah.
for a woman's body to breastfeed a child constantly.
It is, yeah. And everybody struggles. So you just,
Yeah.
if you have good support and encouragement, hopefully you can go as long as you want. I mean,
yeah,
mother
that's
wants.
also the decision of the mother.
It's the
ultimately.
decision.
Yeah.
But, again, I say it more for people who want to do it but don't have the support, because it is your decision. But if you want to, then you should have the support, which I feel like a lot of women don't have
They
the
struggle
support
with it.
around,
Yeah,
or the right
yeah.
forum to ask these questions,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they are so much in doubt. And I always feel make an informed decision. You should take a decision, but just it should be an informed decision. And ultimately,
And you have an elder child, so discuss that phase where you were preparing him for little baby coming in a few months. Any funny stories or any challenges there which you would want to share?
So when I was pregnant and when I was visibly pregnant, my son was quite excited because he thought that I'll have company in the house.
Oh, wow.
So he was quite happy, and
Yeah.
he used to have a lot of curious questions on when the baby will come and whatnot. And then when I delivered, he was very excited for the first week. But I think it was such a transition for him from being an only child for so long.
To share your attention, everybody else's attention.
Yeah. And when we got the baby home, it was fine. But, I was with the baby all the time because it's newborn and they need constant,
of course, yeah.
They're incapable of taking care of themselves. So you have to be there with the baby.
Yeah.
So it was me, and my husband took on my son. So it was a big change because, you have your little routines of sleeping, putting the kid to sleep, reading, whatever. And I had no time, and I was recovering, and, your hormones are all over the place. So you need your rest. So I think in 1 week he had it. So he came to me and he said one day that she's cute, but he apne ghar kab jayegi? So I said, okay, now I can, his enthusiasm is done. He's like, bahut ho gaya. So I
कब जाएगी?
उसको अपने घर भेजो. So I said, नहीं, I had to tell him कि ये उसका भी घर है. So, kids are so frank and honest about how they are feeling. And I think he was really done with her. And the first few months were tough because of all these changes and, the baby needing a lot of the mom's time, especially the mom's time. But then as she got more responsive, I can see now the bond and the fun and a little bit of play happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the one funny thing I remember.
So in that case, Ankita, I saw a transition where, you were a few months into postnatal and you just wanted to get back to your workouts.
Yeah.
So do you associate that phase with more of your mental sanity than with just the getting back into shape or getting your strength back?
Definitely mental first. I feel, for me, like working out is a lot mental than just physical. I feel like if I feel good, then I can radiate it externally, physically also. So it's not just about, let's just get back into shape. And I wanted to take my time. I mean, I'm still nowhere near strength and, like where I was before, but I also wanted to be kind to myself. I feel like bodies go through a lot and women's bodies go through so much. So there is no mad rush in life.
Yeah.
Give yourself time to recover and eat well. And if you are breastfeeding, then you need the calories and all of that.
You need more.
So for me, once I got the clearance from my doctor, I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And it was really about giving that 1 hour to myself. Because 23 hours I'm with the baby.
Yeah, with the baby, with other responsibilities as well.
Yeah.
You wanted to give that.
Yeah. So I started, I came back for that, and the mental, it helped me a lot, I feel. Just, you feel a little bit like yourself.
Yes.
Your old self.
Old self.
Yeah. And it's a little bit of break. So that's how it happened. And then now it's been 10 months. So I think I got the clearance 6 weeks out after my delivery. So I started then. And then over time, like I've kept scaling it up, etc. But mentally it helped me a lot to get back to workout.
And how do you manage your nutrition? So I hear struggle from mothers that खुद के लिए तो खाना बनाने का टाइम नहीं मिलता, या क्या खाना है कुक को भी बताने का टाइम नहीं मिलता, with the 2 children and the fast paced life that you have. So how do you find time for a good nutrition, and what is the nutrition that you take? If you can share some staple recipes, or maybe.
So we are very
Yes, yeah.
simple. We eat very basic ghar ka khana, and we just make a lot at home. As a family, we are not big into eating out or ordering in. I mean, I think we've not ordered in for like over years. So, of course, one does indulge, but generally speaking, we make food at home and we try and make every meal fresh. And that's how the kids have also grown up eating, learning. So, your normal dal, sabzi, chawal, roti, salad, all of that. Normal Indian food. And then weekend is like, we also love cooking, so we might experiment a little bit and make interesting things, especially with the elder kid. There's always interest to make a pizza or a pasta and things like that. But we keep it simple, essentially. And, unless there is a specific health goal, then it's different. And then I've had those goals and I've adjusted my diet accordingly. But generally speaking, we keep it very simple. Simple.
Talking about that, you also have a tendency of, exposing your children to nature, maybe a farm, maybe a park where you take your children. So, and also eating food grown from the farm. So, tell us about that part of your life where you want your children to connect, and how good it is for children to connect to the earth, maybe.
I feel like one of the things we were quite conscious about is not to expose the kids to technology too early and too much. Because I've seen that spiral, where the kid is just addicted to the phone and they want the phone with meals, and, anytime there's a tantrum, they see the phone, they're quiet. And we saw some, we saw like sometimes we would see that happening. Where it's a slippery slope. You're like, just watch this one song and eat, and then every day your kid is asking for the same thing. And there is no getting out of that negotiation. So we made a decision very early on to limit technology. And it comes with sacrifices, because
you can't scroll
on it
just
as an adult.
Expect the child to not.
Because kids are like monkey see, monkey do. You can't do one thing and tell the kid and expect they will follow.
Else,
so they are not like that, this generation, where the parent says and they will be like,
they will question, they will question.
So it came with sacrifices. So like, we have not watched TV together, me and my husband, for years. And I used to be and I am an OTT buff, and it would be our thing, like watch a series. But if you have the TV on, it's just difficult in an apartment to tell the kid, you be inside.
You can't say it's, we can hold the phone, but you can't. You can't just say that.
So we've had some rules. We don't do too much TV in the house. We keep the phones to like a study room. If you have to work, if you have to do a conversation, we try and do there. So it's not an environment where somebody's constantly on the phone. We try and limit that. And there's no like, you have 10 minutes of cartoon time. We don't do that. So I feel like, then what do you do with kids in an apartment? So I do try and take them, like my son, out to a park every day, or send him to the park. So 2 hours is mandatory. There is no negotiation. And if there's sun, cold, rain, I'm pretty tough on that. It doesn't matter. You can wear your raincoat and go. So go out. And tire yourself physically. And whatever little nature exposure is possible in a city like Gurgaon. So, in a farm, for example, I feel like my son, he's so obsessed with mitti mein khelna hai, and, just
Thankfully
Yeah.
you said that because, I have many such encounters with parents where they feel हाथ गंदे हो गए,
Yeah.
मिट्टी में खेला.
Yeah.
But you're saying मिट्टी में खेलना है.
खेलना है, हाँ, मिट्टी में खेलना है या
हाँ.
कुछ प्लांट करना
हाँ.
है या something.
Hmm.
So I feel like that to me feels like a better use of that his time and energy. And just like his physical energy to be outdoors. And I really enjoy outdoors myself.
Yes, you do.
I love to take a walk no matter what the weather, if I can, I would love to just be outdoors as much as possible. So whatever is possible within where you live, I feel. So we live in a place where there's a lot of like green parks in our apartment. So that's important. And giving kids
and
that
besides,
exposure.
they see you working out, they
Yeah.
see you taking care of your health, keeping your nutrition very simple.
Yeah.
And I think that is what you want your children to imbibe eventually.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the whole is, I feel like, मैं क्या ही बोलूं अभी, these kids today. So I feel like I just believe that if we keep doing the right thing, hopefully over time, they will learn these are principles of life rather than somebody giving them lecture कि ये करो.
ये सही है, ये गलत है.
Yeah.
Just show them what you expect.
Show them,
of them.
walk the talk.
So, Ankita, tell me one thing that you have a global calendar which you follow in your work. So, कभी ऐसा हुआ है मीटिंग चल रही है और बीच में आपको कुछ डायपर चेंज करना पड़ गया?
So, this is a story of my life. So, I think I have had so many meetings, especially where I also work later into the night, where, some kid will come in the camera and somebody will pop in. And once I was in a meeting, which was a serious meeting, and my son just came back from school. I was working from home that day, and then he was like, I need to poop. So I have had lots of these bloopers.
Yeah.
But what do you do? I mean, if you
that is how
if you are taking calls and odd times and if you have kids around, this is just life. So I try and not get distracted. But these things do happen. And of course, as he's gotten older, it's become better. But these are realities of a working parent.
Yeah.
And especially if you are working, different sorts of hours. It does happen sometimes that your kids need you and I mean, it's just, there's no good answer. It's not easy, but you juggle and you just get it done.
So there is a lot of pressure with, parents, especially in a city where we live, to have the best of schools, to have the best of holidays, to have the best of careers. So you talked about being not perfect, and still looking at you, Ankita, like, the career that you have and the strength training that you do along this while pre, post, during pregnancy and looking after two children. Like 2 children is not a norm these days. One child is enough, people believe. So where do you put yourself in? Do you have so many hours, more than 24 hours in a day? So what's your tip or advice or, for parents who are struggling to compete with the best in life?
So no, I don't. I wish there were more than 24 hours. I don't have 24 hours. I just feel like after kids, I've become very disciplined with my time. I feel like that has made me very protective of my time, where I spend it, with whom I spend it, because I don't have so much extra time. So just be smart with your time. And then, this whole thing of competition or what is the best. I mean, what is the best really? It's very personal, so what is best for you might not be best for me. So I really believe that you can't just have an external marker of success, which is उसका ये हुआ तो मुझे ये चाहिए, या उसने ये किया तो मुझे, और उसकी जॉब में ये हुआ तो. So you have to decide what is joy for you and what is success for you. And I feel like we will all live happier, less anxious lives if we can do that. This is not easy to do. I also am trying to get there. But that marker has to be personal. And then I feel like, I don't do the best at everything. I fail a lot and I struggle a lot. And I have days where I feel like I'm barely surviving. So what you see is not what is the reality. Reality is very messy.
Do you draw parallels with strength training
Yeah.
and this juggling of a modern parent life, do you draw parallel कि उसमें भी CrossFit के कुछ sets हैं, चलो पूरे नहीं हुए, 12 reps हुए,
Hey,
and still you show up
you
every
show
day.
up. Yeah, that's what life is. You show up, you make the most of your time in every situation, and you just show up with a lot of grit and resilience is what I believe. You show up, that's important. And then it moves from there. And honestly, nobody's life is like this thing. Everybody's you're trying to make things work always.
In comparison to that, hypothetically, if you had not been into strength training and still you had the life that you had, is it about you or about you being consistent with one part of your life, training, looking after your nutrition, all the taking care of your health, basically?
Yeah.
Is that building a confidence or stability in a way?
It does. I feel like it gives you some sense of discipline and control. Because for me, I love working out in the morning. I can't do it any other time. Because if I do it, then I won't do it any other time. So my day starts then.
Yes.
So I love to do it first thing in the morning. And for me, that becomes like my anchor for the day, because I feel this is one thing where I've showed up and I've done what it sets the tone for me.
Yeah.
So that to me is extremely important. So there is a lot of parallel, because I feel like if you have to be consistent with working out, you have to show up not just for days, weeks, months, but years. And that's important. And there are lots of parallels in terms of just, sometimes you're not great at certain things. And we work out in a group.
Yeah.
And our group, as you know, is full of stars who run hundreds of kilometers. And then they are just like, I can do another 100. So, when you are with amazing, incredible people like that who are so accomplished, and you show up, you also feel like pushing yourself. So there is a lot to learn. It also humbles you, because you're not there as I'm this career person, I'm this you're in your workout gear and you are trying to do the best that you can and your body can. But you also realize you have ways to go. And I think it's amazing to be surrounded by people who are better than you in every way. Because I feel like
if I speak with them, they will say we all seek inspiration from Ankita.
No, they are amazing. So generally, not just work. I always want like to be with people who are smarter, sharper, brighter, funnier, fitter. Because I feel I have so much to learn. And it humbles you, because you realize you're not there in a good way. You can take a good thing from it. So I enjoy that.
And also, Ankita, you pointed out something very good, that you have a time constraint.
Yeah.
And that is where you manage things. So what are the boundaries that you set? I mean, in terms of your social life, or in terms of your, dealing with people day to day, what boundaries in particular, if you can share with people, that you have to say no at this point in time?
So I don't do late nights, which all my friends hate me for, because they think that I've become very old.
Old, yeah.
Because I feel like I want to sleep. And I want to sleep at a reasonable time. And it's not a hard boundary in the sense that I would never do it, but almost never. I would never do it. It has to take a lot out of me to party every weekend, because I just can't spoil my next day. And I like sleep. So one of the things is that my boundary is I try and sleep at a reasonable time, because I love early mornings and I like to get up early. So that's one thing that I do. Other than that, I try and, my hard boundaries, I try and get in physical movement every day. I try and be consistent and show up here and work out with, the group. But if not, it could be like 1 hour of walking. It could be something. But I like to make sure. So that's quite non-negotiable. Movement is important. Movement is important. And meals are important. And that's, Other than that, I don't have, never say never, and I don't have too many do's and don'ts.
But yes, you have to set certain boundaries
are there.
Keep the flow going.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have this and that round for you, where I'm going to ask you 2 questions. You have to choose between the 2 options.
Okay.
All right. This and that for Ankita.
Hmm.
Strength training or complete rest during pregnancy?
Oh, strength training. That's a simple one.
Science-backed decisions or well-meaning opinions?
No science-backed decisions.
Early morning workouts or late evening sessions?
Early morning, always.
Discipline or motivation?
uh, Discipline. I think motivation can run out.
Yeah.
I think discipline carries you through.
So, home cooked, planned nutrition or convenience eating?
Always home.
Home
I
cooked,
love
yeah. Listening to your body or listening to fear?
Of course, listening to your body. It takes a lot, but I totally believe your body is amazing. It will tell you amazing things, but you have to be intuitive.
self-aware,
Yeah, you have to be.
Consistency over years or short bursts of intensity?
Definitely consistency over years, but sometimes also short bursts of intense. So both. I think short bursts of intensity also help.
Break a plateau or
They break or they keep things interesting, or help you achieve some goals. That you have set for yourself. So both.
Okay. Structured routine or flexible flow?
Very structured.
Nature-based living or city convenience?
So currently city living. And trying to sneak in some nature where we can, but at some point in my life, I would really love to be close to nature and just not be in city. But yeah, currently it's city with a little bit of nature.
Movement as medicine or movement as luxury?
Movement as medicine. Yeah, definitely.
Has to be there.
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah. Okay. So, Ankita, while we end this session of ours, I want you to share any personal advice for women who are entering into a phase of pregnancy and who have been working out, and with the doctor's advice, they want to continue working out, and they have fears of, what after childbirth, will I be able to be back in shape? There are body image issues with women at this point in time as well. So what is your advice to them?
So I think, one, I feel like fitness should be part of your life always. I feel like a lot of people, women feel, now I have to do something because I'm pregnant, or now I don't have to do. It should be part of your ethos in life, just taking care of your health. And women sometimes tend to ignore that. I feel
until they want to look good.
Yeah, it's not about looking good only. And strong is the new flex, So I really feel like women have to be fit and strong and have muscle, and all of those things are really important as you age. And there's enough science to prove that.
Of course.
So I feel like if you can have fitness as part of your life even before you get pregnant, and once you do, hopefully you have the right guidance and support to see it through. I think science is important. Well-meaning opinions are great on what you should and should not do, but your body will know best. So you should trust your body, because I think the body is capable of amazing things, and women's bodies are capable of amazing things. So you should totally trust your body and have good advice and a good support system. And what you don't want to listen to, thoda sa ignorance is not a bad idea.
Ignore which is not resonating.
Which is not, or it's not fact, or it's not your life value. It's fine to ignore it. And it doesn't come from a bad place always. Sometimes people don't know better. And post, once you've had a baby, yes, I think you can absolutely bounce back. That's my goal for this year, is my health. My one intention for this year is to focus on myself, because I feel like, the body's gone through a lot, so I want to focus. So why not? You can bounce back, and not just bounce, you can be better than before. So there is no reason to stop, I feel. And if you approach it with that mindset, this is a journey, and it's an amazing journey. And something amazing will come at the end of it, which is your baby. And then, you can go from strength to strength from that. So I feel like...
so what particular goal you have for yourself this year?
Strength.
In terms of,
I mean, I of course want to lose my postpartum, like the weight. But that, like I said, I've not been in a mad rush. I feel like I do want to do it sustainably. But definitely get stronger than I've been even before. And I feel like this is my year to do it.
Yeah.
And then I want to set like challenges and goals for myself to keep doing things. And
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ankita, for coming at Unlikely Strong. It was a pleasure talking to you. And the most amazing thing is the way you have balanced it all. And you have it all.
Thank you
Not
so
easy,
much.
but you have it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was fun.